Hi, I'm Paul Noddings. I'm about to tell you my story about near death at 4 Mile. It's actually a great story, an uplifting story for me, so it's not a negative. But I was surfing here about 6 years ago, and on that day there was quite big surf coming through, and the surf was breaking on both sides of the bay here. And the white water was going into the middle of the bay and congregating from both sides, and then there was a current coming out into the middle of the bay. And because of that, I felt I would not do what I normally do, which is to walk along the base of the cliff here on the 4 Mile side and jump off the rocks. I thought I'd just get in where the current was, and I knew it would take me straight out to sea, and then I'd just paddle sideways across to the break at 4 Mile. Well, I did just that. I got in the water there where you can see that there's some people on the beach and there's a little bit of white water breaking, and the current just took me straight out into the middle of the bay here, which is quite deep. And when I was in the middle of the bay starting to paddle across to the 4 Mile break, I thought to myself, you know, this water is pretty deep. If I was a shark, I'd be hanging around in this water. And when I thought that, a fin came out of the water about 100 yards away from me and came straight at me, traveling fast, not going up and down like a dolphin, just straight out of the water, coming straight at me. And my goodness, I blinked several times to make sure I wasn't seeing things, and I thought to myself, oh my God, this is a bad situation. Because I'm like in the middle of the bay, I'm too far out, I'm not near other surfers, and what do? Like swing the board and start paddling for the shore and present a broadside for the shark? Or do I just stay facing head on? Which is what I did. I stayed facing head on, I took my hands and my feet out of the water, and my whole life flashed before me. There was enough time to get really scared, and I did get scared. But I was also surprised that I had a fair amount of courage while I was looking down the barrel of this gun. And it came straight at me. The fin went under my board about 6 inches from the front of my board. I could see the barnacles on the fin, the mottled grey and darker grey patches on the fin, and there was a fountain of water coming off either side of the fin. And I stayed there for about a second, maybe a second and a half. I was too scared to put my head in the water and open my eyes to see if I could see the big pectoral fins. It was too much risk. The splash might just be enough to make this animal turn around. And besides, I didn't need any more convincing. So I waited about a second and a half, and I looked behind me and I thought that the fin was going to come up the other side and was going to turn around. But it didn't, and then I just turned my board and I paddled as fast as I could. But I had a long way to go. It must have taken me 30 seconds or 40 seconds to reach where the other surfers were, and I immediately went inshore of them and into relative safety. While I was paddling, I looked back one time and I thought I would see the fin coming back after me in my wake. And it scared me so much when I looked back. I just told myself, don't look back again and keep paddling as fast as you can until you get to safety. There was so much adrenaline released that I couldn't sleep for 2 days, 2 whole nights. I couldn't sleep, but it wasn't out of fear, it was out of joy of living through this process. So that was my big occasion at 4 Mile. It happened about 6 years ago, and I have never surfed at 4 Mile since. In fact, I've never surfed outside of Santa Cruz, the main breaks, Steamers Lane and Pleasure Point, since that day. And I will surf the coast again. It wasn't a reason not to surf the coast again. All of us surfers know that there's animals out here that could eat us. We all accept the risk. But when it presents itself to you like that, it is a very shocking experience, and I'm so glad to live through it, and I'm so glad to be here to tell you this story today. Thanks for listening.